I know that y'all saw that the Clippers were 0-4
Yup.
since the James Harden trade. Has anybody been watching the games though? Like, be
Oh,
honest with me, because
I've
that's
tuned in. I've tuned in. I've tuned in a couple of them.
I've watched more Philly because I've wanted to see them more than the Clippers. I obviously have watched a couple of Clippers games, but I even have Maxi's 50-point game on in full right now. But man, I ain't gonna lie. I guess we're gonna start with this. I'm brag rapping, called it. I'm brag rapping, called it 100% down the middle, home run out of the park. I told Joe, Philly has an opportune chance. Granted, I think the next step is probably to trade Embiid because I don't think this team is going to win an entire championship. We'll talk about that when we get there. But man, I told you, if Maxey has an opportunity to showcase who he is, and the other just aren't as bad as a lot of people are saying they are, this team can do something and be like a third-ish team in the East. Now, do I think they are legit going to be the third best team in the East? Probably not, no cap. But this Sixers team is going to be live. I think the Sixers team is going to be live, and they got hella picks if shit goes wrong. And the Clippers, unfortunately, but fortunately for a Lakers fan, the concerns are all there. I mean, we all brought up the concerns, and they are all there. Like, my God, it's just James Harden is, unfortunately, what's even scary about them, what we were saying, he doesn't even look like he's warranting the non-fit. Like, he doesn't even look like he's that damn good enough thus far. And it's only been 4 games. But he doesn't look that good enough to be causing the lineup issues that he does. So it's a nightmare in LA. I ain't gonna lie, a nightmare in LA.
I was definitely more optimistic on the trade when it first happened, but I was banking on the fact that they were gonna bench either James or Russ going into it. They didn't. So now I'm seeing what that lineup is playing out to be, and it looks nasty as fuck. I will say I think defense is genuinely more of a problem for them than offense. Zubac is getting picked apart. They have no rim protection when Zubac is off the court. They're running like Kawhi, PJ Tucker, and or Paul George at the 5. It's looking nasty out there. Hey man, I think one of James Harden or Russell Westbrook just needs to suck it up and go to the bench if they're really trying to win. But if they're just trying to bullshit and vibe out in LA, hey, just keep playing.
I was gonna say that before Damo goes. I was gonna say that. I mean, I know people want to talk about Harden. My God. And I remember when Lakers fans loved this guy. Zubac should not be in the NBA. I'm going to keep that a game.
As a primary interior, as a primary
that's what I'm
interior
saying,
defender of your team, that's not who he is. I don't even think he was that for us. We had some garbage-ass centers like Benga, Jordan Hill, all them niggas. We was like, that's a better defender than Zoo in the clutch. Nah.
I'm seeing him get cooked at every turn, offensively, defensively. I think he benefits a lot from any good statistic that you can like look at bright side, like, okay, 1.7 blocks. He's the only one out there. And trust me, 1.7 blocks does not tell the tale of him as like a rim protector at all.
It's also easy to just bring him out the paint. It's also just easy to bring him out the paint. Like in that Memphis game, they had Jaren Jackson out in the paint. And like Zubac, like that's the only thing he provides on defense, and he just wasn't even
necessarily
there,
at the 3. He was just not in the paint.
Yeah,
he was not in the paint.
Then he's go ahead, because that's not the guy. But go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say when it came to the trade, I was half right and half wrong. Half right in the sense that there's a terrible look for the Clippers, and I'm not going to lie, it's not a conversation. James Harden needs to come off the bench. Russ was already a guy to come off the bench when he was he was on the Lakers. He came to the Clippers with the promise of, we'll let you be Russ and see where it goes. And you see in the playoffs, he was the best player on their team. Best energy. He's playing fine. He started the season off playing fine. There's no reason why Russ is coming off the bench. James Harden came over to this team. James Harden requested to come to this team. James Harden is the guy that's really struggling more than anybody. James Harden should be the one to come off the bench. Ty Lue's a terrorist. They have no size. So even if James comes off the bench, you have PJ Tucker being your 4. You have, I'm not, no knock to PJ Tucker. That's a better 4 than having James starting, but they need to go. I don't know whether it's Kai Jones. I was going to say Dwight, but everybody know he's not about to play no basketball no time soon. But I don't know who they need to get. They need to get more bigs to add more size to that team. They missed out by not getting Bismack Biyombo. For as funny as that is, he's doing exactly his job in Memphis, and they can use all that work in Los Angeles right now. With the Sixers, hey, Sage, you had me, gang. I was wrong. I didn't believe that them getting 17 forwards was going to be something that worked out for him. But wallahi, I was wrong. I thought that Tyrese Maxey's a dog. Don't get me wrong. I just thought he would need to play make more, but they play make by committee. So F it. If the whole team's gonna play make, screw it. Let Maxey get
Right.
Now,
I need your help on this, man. I ain't gonna lie. And let's pod for him, man. When are we gonna hold Paw Print to the fire?
Look, man, I ain't
we're
gonna
talking
lie.
about all of this.
Thank
They
you.
supposedly got a top 5 player on their team. Have y'all seen how he's performing?
I'm gonna make sure I'm not lying again.
He's not been performing like a top 5 player these last 4 games, man.
Yeah,
Okay, we holding Paw Print to the
that's-
fire.
Here's my thing. The Paul, I'll give him a bit of slack. The Paul is really viewed as like a 6 to 10 kind of guy. But I've said for years he's one of the most protected players in the world, in the sense of nobody ever talks about him because he doesn't talk. Because the idea that a star player playing next to Paul George, playing next to another all-star in James Harden, and especially with the reputation that Russell Westbrook has, any other superstar that has that would be hypothetically on that four, a part of that four, killing them. No shadow of a doubt, you're killing them. Instead, people talk about the Clippers as a team, and then even on top of that, there's teams out there that don't make a lot of sense. We get on Phoenix's ass all the fucking time. KD was just busting the Lakers' ass the other night. Like at the end of the day, you would think that he's just gonna go out there and just fuck shit up regardless, and it hasn't translated to any wins. I know it's only 4 games. Y'all gonna claim overreaction, but none is crazy. And man, look, bro, I need him to step the fuck up. I need him to step the fuck up, because it's not like it's even like a Luka situation that someone just mentioned, where the roster, we're all thinking, ew, this sucks. No, the roster has talent. The roster has talent. It doesn't mesh perfectly, but the roster has talent. He can't be 0-4, bro. He can't be 0-4. He can't not look as hyped up as he's been for years and years and years. Now, if you think those conversations were wrong to begin with, then that's a fair argument.
So let me say this, because I didn't get my chance to go. First of all, I'm looking at the 0-4 for the Clippers, and I want to also bring this up specifically regarding the 0-4. The big 4 in 4 games: Kawhi 18.8 points per game, Paul George 17 points per game, Russell Westbrook 14 points per game, James Harden 13.5 points per game. The Paul George is playing phenomenally before this. Notably so. But what I want to say, though, is that I think that we had a lot of false hope for the Clippers beforehand with the little wins that they had, or whatever the case may be. And little wins is kind of crazy. But with the performance that they had, they were 3 for 2. And I don't even think that they were beating like impressive teams, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to check the schedule right quick. They beat the Trailblazers. They lost to the Jazz. They beat the Spurs. They beat the Orlando Magic. And they lost to the Lakers in overtime. And they lose to the Knicks, the Nets, the Mavericks, and then the Grizzlies. Now, the Grizzlies is definitely a bad loss, but the other teams are, they're good teams. I ain't gonna lie to you. And the Lakers are a good team, but this was before the trade. And then who they beat, beating the Trailblazers, beating the Spurs. I think this is a game where Vic had a bad game or whatever. Or was it Sochan? One of those two had a bad game. And then the Orlando Magic, I guess that's cool. The Orlando Magic isn't, they're 5 for 4. They're 6 in the East. They're not the best.
That's a good team.
That's an okay team. But I think, and Damo said the whole Ty Lue thing. I don't know what the problem is with Ty Lue, even with Kawhi. I think that honestly, life is just about, that one decision that you make, and that one decision that you make could really fuck shit up. You know what I'm talking about? So in hindsight, like Kawhi should have never made. Hell, the transition from the Spurs. In hindsight, he might have maybe should have never made that transition from the Raptors. But now he's in a situation, and maybe kind of like Kyrie Irving, where you're finding out, hey, it's kind of hard to win in the league. You were dealt some pretty good hands. I'm not gonna blame you. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's exceeded a lot of expectations, or he's more than what he's supposed to be. And I think in a different situation, he could be that. But given the cards that he has dealt, this is just what he can put out. And the same thing with Ty Lue. I don't think Ty Lue is necessarily a bad coach. I think it's really hard to coach Paul George and Kawhi. And then I also think it's hard when you add Russell Westbrook to that. And then I think it's even harder when you add James Harden to that equation as well. And you have to pull these guys to the side and say, yo, we got to come together and win. That sounds like the most Disney Channel speech ever for this Disney Channel ass team. These are the cards that you do. You got to do what you got to do.
Oh, go ahead, Dom. My bad.
I'm just saying with Ty, there's multiple things, but Ty Lue, he's a small ball merchant. That's his problem. Shout out Andrew. But
Andrew,
yeah.
What is he supposed to do?
He's a small ball merchant. I mean, not be a fucking small ball merchant for one. Let's start there. Let's start by not being a small ball merchant, playing with Kawhi and Paul George. There was no reason why Kawhi should have been there 4. There's no reason why PG should have been moved from the 2.
I'm talking about right now.
And even right now, you should have. I ain't gonna lie. If it was about getting James Harden over there, you should have slid Bones Highland or you should have slid Terrence Mann before you slid all of your size.
But
that's in retrospect.
Why is that on? No. Why is that on?
Rocco and who else did they send?
Rocco, Ian Martin Jr., Nicholas Batum, and the Morris twin. That's 4 guys that are 6'7", 6'8", and play big for them.
But I don't think that's changing their rim protection problem, though. But I see what you're saying.
But it's not even just the rim protection. Like, obviously, rim protection is a problem. But the lack of sizes was killing them. And when they go to their bench, they don't have no size on their bench for real. Like, they just need size.
Why is that a Ty Lue issue?
Because he's a small ball merchant. I'm pretty sure if Ty Lue speaks up, if Ty Lue says what he wants. Now, if it's a situation where it's like, okay, Ty Lue just got outwitted by the owner and the president, cool.
Wait, why do you keep saying he gets? I think.
Not outwitted. I'm not outwitted, but
yeah,
he's muscle, strong arm. If he gets
strong arm, I'm gonna tell you based off of what I understand. Listen, you got to listen to Steve Ballmer talk. Yes, that's what happened. And not strong with it. I don't doubt that they didn't ask him, but they have GM, they have basketball operations, they have a job. You do your job. That was it, for real.
I mean, that's fair, but to act like the head coach isn't at that table when they're having these conversations too, because it's his team to coach.
No. They asked him a question, and he probably said his piece. I can't say what his piece is. If you feel his piece was, get rid of all these pieces or whatever to get James or whatever, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, they made a decision. They made a decision. You can speak your piece all you want, but they made a decision, and he just got to coach what he got.
Even going into the season, if this team was constructed a bit differently with Ty Lue speaking up, I don't think Ty Lue spoke up because of the way he likes to coach, and his team fits that. He's a small ball coach. This was a small ball roster. That is all I'm saying. Historically, Ty Lue is a small ball merchant, and that bites you in the ass when you're playing teams that play big. That's it. That's the only thing I have with Ty Lue. Going in, you should have built this team a bit differently. We might be in a different situation talking about how this roster looks with James Harden, but that's just slight. On the grand scheme,
I just can't see how that's Ty Lue's fault, but go ahead.
I'm not blaming the whole thing on Ty Lue. I'm just saying if that wasn't his coaching style, this team would not be built like this. That's a fact. They built this team around how he likes to coach. It's his regime. He's a small ball coach. They got small ball players.
I don't know. That's true. But go ahead, continue.
Okay, cool. Whatever. Cool. I don't think niggas know what they're talking about in terms of Kawhi's last 4 games. Kawhi Leonard has not played that bad in the totality of the last 4 games. He's had a bad game here, maybe a bad game there, but it hasn't just been he's fell off a cliff since James Harden got there. Yes, I'm not saying he's been perfect. He's had a bad game or two, but it's not just been, cool, this is your top 5 guy over that shouldn't have been something that's in question. You're getting a ball dominant guy next to a ball dominant guy as your guard and shoot as both your guards. There's only so much you can do. This team is in disarray. I think it's and I understand everybody wants to crucify Kawhi Leonard because so many people are loud and mighty about Anthony Davis all the fucking time. So everybody's like, where's that smoke for Kawhi? I don't think y'all realize that smoke's been there for Kawhi. Who the hell has been giving the Clippers the opportunity? Who's believed in the Clippers outside of Clipper fans for real? Everybody, Sage. Hey, Sage. From what I've seen, I've still been saying the Clippers gonna flip. From what I've seen, that's been a known thing to say the Clippers are gonna flip. Now, if you get Russ stands hyping it up, those are Russ stands. If James Harden stands are hyping it up, that's James Harden stands. But anybody who knows, it's still the Clippers are gonna clip.
I'll tell you this. I agree with you in terms of the Clippers going to clip. However, the explanation for the Clippers clipping is different. What I consistently hear time in and time out, Souls, correct me if I'm wrong when we get this on Souls and Sage especially, whenever we talk about the Clippers and go heavy on the Clippers, they always just bring up the injury and they act as if the Clippers are always healthy, they will always win. It's been like this since 2020. And I've consistently been like, I don't know. I don't know if this team, if healthy, just dolos the way that y'all say they will solo time in and time out. People, 100%, you're right. I'm not going to be the gaslight here. Nobody's calling the Clippers win the chip right now. Nobody calls the Clippers to win the chip all the time because people assume they'll be hurt. But the idea that the healthy Clippers will win, that is very much still alive. It was alive in 2022. It was damn well alive in 2021. 2020, it was a pack for a reason. And even as early as into this season, a lot of people were trying to boost up this roster. I agree with you. It was never the perfect constructed roster because even with all them forwards, they still don't have a big. They were not going to be great regardless. My expectation of Kawhi isn't necessarily on the 4 games. It's really for his entirety of his career. But even in the 4 games, I mean, this is a guy that, like, I hate to be Kobe fan here. Y'all will say no diffs Kobe, best 2-way of all time, top 1 at some point in his career. You tried to push it since 2018. Mind you, prime LeBron is playing that season. You damn well pushed it in 2019. You damn well pushed it in 2020. And he kind of gets away from a lot of the scrutiny that a guy like a Jason Tatum, a guy like a Anthony Davis, hell, nigga, y'all motherfuckers start turning on Anthony Edwards before y'all start talking about Kawhi Leonard at times. And it's just kind of weird. But
yeah, that's essentially where I'm coming from. It's not that Kawhi has been playing horribly, but I just feel like we're all overreacting at this point, right? We're ultimately it's 4 games. All right, there's still a lot of season left. They still have a lot of time to turn this shit around. While we're overreacting, I'm trying to see where the consistency lies. And I'm seeing James Harden be blamed more. I'm seeing Zubac be blamed more. I'm seeing Ty Lue be blamed more. Meanwhile, again, this dude that's supposed to be compared to the Giannis's of the world when he's healthy is putting up 19, 4, and 3. Not that he's playing, not that it's bad, but for the standards that we talk about this dude when he's healthy, Kawhi or KD, Kawhi or LeBron. If those guys are in his position getting this amount of help, we would be holding them to the fire. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think that's the case if you use common sense in context of his team is being built terribly bad. Like I don't think this
common sense applies to LeBron and KD.
I'm just saying. No, but real shit with LeBron James, whenever he doesn't have adequate talent, people can acknowledge that. Now, they'll be called a bron-sexual, but it's common sense. When he's losing to the Warriors with just Matthew Dellavedova, it's like, okay, how much are we really going to crucify LeBron? When he's in the finals of 2018 as an old man and his second best player is who? J.R. Smith? Is it really much scrutiny and criticism to hold him to the fire
at that
time?
In the finals, though.
Again, let me round out my point. I'm just saying, when it comes to guys that don't have the talent around them or their team is being a terrorist, I think it's fair to be like, all right, I mean, I can't just sit there and say, ball out. You're not in a situation to just ball out and win. And I don't know about you, Souls. I don't know about you, Omar. I definitely don't know about you, Sage. But if we all agreed that this is a bad move for the Clippers to get James Harden there, no one knows how it's going to work, and then it's not working, the hell we sitting here about to be like, oh, yeah, Kawhi, niggas said you was top 5? Like, what are we doing?
I don't think that was a bad move per se.
For James Harden to go to the Clippers.
Yeah. Because again, Steve Ballmer told me what he was gonna do, what he was trying to do. The nigga paid $4 billion to put some stadiums together. His objective is to sell some damn tickets. I'm sorry, y'all think niggas is trying to win games and do no. He is trying to have the best show in town. And the best way to have the best show in town is to have all these players and star names. With Kawhi, you can get hurt for 2 weeks, buddy. Guess what? You still buy a Clippers ticket. You get Russ, you get Harden, and you get PG. PG, you can go down, buddy. That's fine. You still got Harden. You still got Russ. You got Kawhi. It doesn't matter. I don't think I was talking about who was wrong about the trade, et cetera, et cetera. I'm still maintaining I'm cool. I'm cool, to be honest with you. Why? Because I think these niggas want to sell tickets over anything. And they're doing that.
They just got to bench one of the guards.
They got to bench one of the guards. They got to bench one of the guards. I guess we can move on to segment because I'll just have to agree to disagree. But I just want my point to be clarified. I'm not necessarily, I don't know what B-Souls is. I'm not necessarily questioning, is Kawhi top 5 in terms of 4 games? My point has been consistently over the years of go back and watch older pods, go back and watch older Souls and Sage videos, and especially old TSO Sage videos. My question over the years has been, are y'all gassing Buddy up and then not holding him accountable to the expectations that you get from being at that level? Because when you're at that level, you get absurd, crazy, goofy ass takes. You get absurd expectations. Now, am I arguing I'm mad. I'm sorry, because I am arguing this. Now, being wrong isn't necessarily always a good thing, but people have been wrong about LeBron James and held him to standards that shouldn't have been that he shouldn't have been held to if they used their brain and made sense. They do that to Kevin Durant all the time. They do that to Giannis. They do that to Jokic. They do that to every other player. It doesn't happen to Kawhi. When it's Kawhi, now niggas got their thinking cap on. And that shit is kind of nasty. In my personal opinion, that's gross. But hey, I can see because we'll just agree to disagree.
But doesn't it like expectations like that? I feel you. If you don't give him an expectation, he has to meet them, and if not, crucify him. Outside of 2020, which he was crucified, they were crucified for losing in 2020 to Denver. They went up 3-1, 3-2. No, they went up 3-1 because Denver had to win out. They had to win 3 games straight to win out and knock him out in 2020. And he played piss poor in 2 of those 3 games. He got crucified. He got put down a level. And in 2021, especially in the playoffs, because that's what matters when you're talking about a player that caliber.
Yeah, 2021
he did not fold. He played like the guy that you thought he was. 2022, he's hurt. Now, I'm all for if people want to give the criticism of, all right, you hurt, I'm taking you down a peg. That's fine. Just be consistent, do that with everybody. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to crucify you for being hurt. I'm just going to talk about why you're on the court, if you're hooping on the court or not. And then we go to 2023. He balled out 2 games he played. So it's not like a case of where he's Joel Embiid. Well, the perception of Joel, because that's a conversation motherfuckers need to happen one day. But the perception of Joel Embiid of being a playoff dropper, that's not Kawhi. Kawhi is not a playoff dropper. Like he's not.
He's not a postseason dropper. But
I'm just not. Outside of injuries, when it's just performance, if we're just thinking on the performance, I don't understand why so many niggas are so ready to burn this nigga at the stake, because he's not shown to be the guy that needs to be burned at the stake. Again, unless we're gonna talk about injuries, and that's fine.
Yeah, to give credit to your point, because I'm not one of these obtuse ass niggas. No, people have moved them down for the conversation of injury. I agree with you there. No conversation that they have had that conversation. I'm just saying, even in the regular season, bro, I'm gonna go stupid casual with it. If Anthony Davis had a stretch of 20-point games and even 8-point games, GG's. That's all I'm gonna say on that. If Anthony Davis was out here averaging 19, GG's, bro.
Sage, Anthony Davis can average
GG's, bro.
Anthony Davis averages. He had the stretch averaging 30 and 15 for 15 games, and people still said he was soft. So AD is not. You can't. AD can't win. You can't.
Okay, AD don't count, Tatum. But Tatum is another one.
Tatum putting up 19, 4, and 3, starting. Let's say this season started off the season 0 and 4, on those same splits.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
KD.
Before we go on to the next part of this conversation, the other side of that trade talk, I just want to. He's only been there 4 games, right? I don't even really think this jersey is made yet. This item is available for pre-order and will begin shipping on or after 11/20. It is 11/13 right now. This jersey is sold out in every single size besides 3XL. This is the James Harden jersey. And on the flip side of that, James Harden wears new Adidas sneakers in Clippers debut, the Harden Volume 8, in his first game. That is also not out, but I'm expecting it to also be a sellout as soon as it happens. Hey, man, sometimes you got to make a money play. And they spent a lot. He bought the team, then had to buy 2 arenas back to back. Nah, man, I need to get some of them funds back, buddy. Get some of them funds back.